Galimera. Good morning, and how are we today? Today is an absolutely beautiful day, as you can tell. The sun is high in the sky. It's very bright, beautiful sunshine. A slight breeze, but nothing chilling or anything like that. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm just looking across towards over this direction. My finger is. I think I can see a chicken down there with her little chicks. Should we go and have a look? Let's go and have a look. Anyway, thanks for all those people that have been tuning in. I've got to say a quick hello to Dean, old Dino, who's managed to get back now to the island. Hopefully I'm going to meet up with him at some point, get some more info on his journey over. But he said that he was welcomed with open arms when he arrived on the island, when he arrived in Greece, because he's been vaccinated. And I've got to be honest, vaccination is part of my news this morning. Yeah, I'll get to that in just a tick. But as you can see, absolutely glorious sunshiny day. It is beautiful. And looking over towards the back, Amber Lockerbie, looking down towards Kerry. Again, beautiful blue skies, not a cloud there either. Big shout out to Lyndon, who I know you've booked your holiday, so you should be with us now in about 23 days time if all goes to plan. So nice to have you looking in, as well as Dave Matthews as well. Give you both a quick wave. So let's crack on with the news, because there is a lot to get through this morning, to be quite honest. And basically, let's just get on with it and give you what's going on at the moment here in sunny Greece. And believe me, it is very sunny at the morning. So there you go, there I am. Right, okay then. Right, so it is May the 11th. It's a Tuesday, and it is day 188 of the lockdown. At the moment, COVID in the last 24 hours, I'm afraid everything seems to be on the turn at the moment. The numbers are up. Infections have risen from 1,428 new infections to 1,904 new infections in the last 24 hours. That means then that we've had 363,904 infections since the pandemic started last year. Now, entries into the country, that has gone up as well. We had one case the other day. Well, that's risen to 7 new cases, which were identified at various ports into the country. Now, according to the national stats at the moment, there were 2 new cases reporting Lefkada. There were 2 new cases reported in Kefalonia, 21 new cases reported in Corfu, and 2 cases reported on Zakynthos. Now, to be honest, locally, there's been nothing to confirm those 2 cases locally, but I've still added the 2 national ones to my statistics. So at the moment, this month of May, we've had 16 cases this month of infections on the island. And since the beginning of the year, Zakynthos has had 539 positive cases. So again, we are still actually doing all right, to be honest, in comparison to other islands. Anyway, as for deaths at the moment across the country, unfortunately, they've also risen as well. The other day I reported to you 51. Well, today there's been 60 new deaths across Greece. That brings the total now to 11,089. The average age of those people passing away are 79 years of age. 96% of those had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. When it comes to incubated cases at the moment, people in critical condition across the country, that's also up as well. Last time I reported you 728, well, that's risen slightly to 732. 455 of those are male. And 277 of those are female. Once again, the average age of people in critical cases, 68 years of age. They've had underlying health issues. That's 83.5% of those, or they were over the age of 70. So anyway, still keeping an eye on the numbers. Right, today then, there's been a lot going on within the last 24 hours. Today's news then, the Greek government confirmed yesterday that those aged 40 to 44 can now start to apply for vaccination appointments during the last 10 days of May. The appointment process for the 35 to 39 and the 30 to 34 age groups will then follow. Now, the appointment platforms for the age group 25 to 29 and 18 to 24 will likely open in June, dependent on the vaccination supplies. Once again, if you fall into any of those categories, my advice to you here on the island is go to your local pharmacy and book your appointment through them. They have been very helpful, and they are probably the best place to go and the easiest place to go. Make sure you take your AMCA number, and they will happily put you in for an appointment. Right, at the moment then, this has also been causing a bit of a stir as well. Nearly 3,000 pupils and teachers have so far tested positive for coronavirus across the country as primary and secondary education reopened its doors in Greece on Monday. Now, this was according to Sky TV, Greek Sky TV. Free COVID test kits, which were distributed by pharmacies across the country to educators and pupils who were registered on the government's database with their parents' AMCA and social security numbers for testing up to 24 hours before attending class. Now, these test results were actually posted on the selftesting.gov.gr platform. So people are now looking very closely at what the infection rates are like in the actual schools. Again, we don't know about false positives there as well, so it's probably not all bad. Once again, what you got to remember, the more testing you do, the more you're actually going to find. Anyway, another very interesting story that I saw yesterday, which has made my eyebrows perk up, is that people who can prove that they have suffered serious injury or side effects from a vaccine can claim compensation from the Greek state. That came out from the top administrative court of Greece yesterday. Now, for a citizen to turn against the state, certain conditions must be met according to the ruling issued by the First Division of the Court, chaired by the Council of State, Vice President Maria Karanov. The person must be able to prove that the injury resulted from the vaccine, that the vaccine was part of a government drive to protect public health, and that it was done using a legitimate vaccine. Anyway, if these prerequisites are fulfilled, a person can claim compensation based on Articles 4 and 25 of the Greek Constitution. This is because in these cases, the damage caused by the vaccination constitutes an excessive sacrifice for the victim, damage to health and insult to personality, and that's their wordings, for the benefit of society as a whole and the ruling state. So basically, that's something that Britain doesn't have. From what I understand about the vaccination process in the UK, once you were vaccinated, it was not a problem for the state. If somebody had some allergic reaction to the vaccine, it was tough. You've had it. That's just the way it goes, full stop. But here in Greece, it seems that if you are administered the vaccine, something goes wrong with the vaccine, you have got some, liability against the state. Something that you don't have in the UK and in most other nations around the world. So that's going to be interesting to see if anybody is going to bring any test cases against the state. There has been reports of people having reactions to the vaccine. 2 doctors in Corfu, a nurse in Corfu, were affected as well. It's not known whether that was through a faulty batch. There is still no word come down from that. But Greece has reported some people having side effects to the actual vaccine. But again, this is probably early days at the moment. But it's interesting that this is something that Greece has, which at the moment the UK doesn't have. Once you had your vaccination, you supposedly signed away any rights for any regress. Simply because it was done for your best benefit. So anyway, we'll wait and see how that story actually works out. Anyway, interestingly, with everything that's going on at the moment, the Greek Minister of Tourism, Mr. Haris Thriakis, will be having meetings in London with senior government officials, representatives of airlines and executives from the UK tourism market. Now, the minister started his visit yesterday on Monday, and he'll be there until Wednesday. And Mr. Thriakis' programme includes a series of interviews with the media. Specifically, the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Thriakis, will have meetings with the British Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Commonwealth and Development, responsible for Asia and international development of the United Kingdom, Mr. Nigel Adams. The terms of the release of travel between Great Britain and Greece in the near future are expected, obviously, to be discussed as to why are we in amber when we should be in green. Afterwards, the Greek Minister for Tourism will then meet senior executives from British Airways, EasyJet, and also from the air travel and travel agency Jet2 as well. These three carriers serve millions of tourists every year to Greece and frequently frequent their itineraries here. But also they are basically not so much British Airways, although we do have British Airways flights, but basically EasyJet and Jet2 are very important for Zakynthos. That is 100% sure. Anyway, it is also recalled that United Kingdom is one of the largest tourist markets for Greek tourism as a whole. And in 2009, Greece welcomed about 3.5 million travellers from Great Britain. Now, in addition to the representatives of airlines, Mr. Thriakis in London will also meet Mr. Noel Javides, a member of the board of directors for the Association of Independent Tour Operators, and also the president of the Travel Foundation. The programme of Mr. Thriakis includes a series of interviews also with British media of high prestige and international repercussions, such as the BBC, Sky News, The Telegraph, and he's also going to be having special meetings with correspondents of Greek networks in London as well. So I should think Greek radio over there is probably going to get a visit from him as well. But anyway, it's good that he's on the move. He should have been on the move last week before the list was put out, just to make sure that he could shore that up. But obviously that didn't happen. And it's interesting that now he's gone. But we want to be making sure that Boris changes his mind by the beginning of next month, so we can see where we stand. Anyway, interestingly as well, back here in Greece on Monday, Greece began sending police officers to its islands in order to strengthen security prior to the country's grand opening for tourism. Their words, not mine. Anyway, more than 100 police officers are being sent to Mykonos, with similar plans in the works for the islands of Santorini and Rhodes. No mention of Zakynthos at the moment, but we normally do get reinforced by police over the summer. All of the most popular Greek tourist destinations are now being prepped for the mass arrival of foreign travellers. Police forces sent to the islands are meant to revamp security on the islands, particularly when it comes to organised crimes. Now, we've seen this in the past where burglary rings and other forms of organised crime, which often sprout up on islands due to high numbers of foreign tourists who obviously make easy targets for robberies. The officers being sent to Mykonos are being accompanied by a new police chief who has been selected for his capabilities of running an enlarged force there. New police departments have also been added on Mykonos in order to improve security. There is a new road safety as well as street policing department, which the new police chief will be tasked in overseeing. Another important part of the expanded police force's duties will be to crack down on the illegal coronavirus parties, which unfortunately were rampant last summer. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to get any of the same here. just to let people know, and people who live here are aware of this, but normally in the summer we do get reinforcements of police from the mainland. Normally they're straight out of the police training school, which is sometimes not always the best, because obviously their lack of experience, they're a little bit shy, shall we say. Also as well, I do know that there are certain measures being put in place in Laguna for the control of traffic. They put some new nice road signs up about where you can and where you cannot park. However, as always, it's down to, you can put a few road signs up, but unless somebody's going down and enforcing it, then obviously it's a waste of time. Also as well, the fact that the police station was closed in Laguna as well a couple of years ago to move operations to town, obviously means that there is no police present with their feet on the ground in that location during the height of season and any other time, because the office there has been closed. And if there's anywhere there needs to be police presence, it is in Laguna, and especially if, when the season does get underway, the curfew is still in force, because at the moment they're talking about keeping a curfew going till midnight again, although we have not had any clear directive as to what will happen once the tourist season starts. Then obviously what that means then is that we could see a repeat of last year of beach parties in the Laguna location, and also in the Sillavi location as well, because people have got nowhere to go because everything is shut. All right. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on that, and we'll see what measures are going to be put in place. Right. Back to the murder at the moment. Then the autopsy details for the murdered businessman, Ginge Coldwell, they were released last night by the medical examiner, Andreas Kotis in Patras. Now, according to the medical examiner who examined him, Ginge had 19 penetrating wounds from Kalashnikov bullets, one of which was the fatal round from where the bullet had penetrated his abdomen, had pierced the liver, the heart, hit the lungs, hit the spine, and from there ended up coming out through his skull. This was a strange route. The pathologist said that the bullet, according to the medical examiner, was that bullet that actually created the fatal blow. Finally, Mr. Koudis described the deadly blow as particularly interesting for the course taken by the bullet. Meanwhile, there's been a very big upset with what's been going on with an Athens newspaper that has caused a lot of shock and a lot of disgust when it actually published photographs of the deceased man. They were published yesterday, which was seen as inappropriate, and it has upset the local press here, as well as family as well, I would think as well. Anyway, in the meantime, the investigations by the police authorities are now continuing in absolute secrecy. You might remember that there was a lot of information coming out about what was going on, and also as well, lawsuits now, it looks like, are on the offing. Zakynthos police are now working towards obviously finding the culprits involved in this murder, and they are also investigating a list of 8 names which were raised in a previous investigation after after Ginge's wife was murdered on an attempted ambush outside their house last year. Anyway, we will once again remind people that there are children involved in this case. They've lost both a father, and they have also lost their mother as well. So once again, the investigation is ongoing, and as soon as we hear anything more, we will let you know about what's going on. Right, and finally then, a nice little light story. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson were spotted arriving on the island of Amporos on Saturday, where the couple have a villa. The Oscar-winning actor and his 63-year-old actress, singer wife stayed safe in masks as they arrived on their beloved island in the Kalidis. In the first visit to Greece by Hanks, who last December became an honorary citizen of Greece. Hanks and his wife own a 450 square metre stone villa located on a 6-acre property in the villages of Kalf Ophelia and Clara. And according to the locals, that the only place where Hanks and Wilson are left alone to relax and catch up with friends, throw dinner parties. I hope they're social distancing and not having more than they should in their house. In fact, they shouldn't be throwing private dinner parties at the moment. Anyway, they can unwind away from the demands and flashing lights. Anyway, the Hollywood couple are in Greece to celebrate Hanks's 64th birthday, which is on Thursday, July the 9th. And hopefully by then, Tom, everything should have been sorted and everything hopefully will be back to normal. Right, so there you go. That's the news for today. Let's have a quick look who's tuning in. I've seen a few names there of people that I want to catch up with. Alf Ling is tuning in. Nice to have you looking in. Karen Bush is also tuning in as well. Heather Nash in Birmingham is tuning in. Dave Matthews in Oxford is also looking in. He says, good morning, Ginge. Thank you. Lyndon, obviously over there in Wales, is tuning in. He's booked his holiday. He's looking forward to staying at Planet and getting over here in about, I think it's 23 days time. So fingers crossed you'll be here in 23 days time. Chick Ballantyne is also tuning in as well. And my tablet decides to freeze. However, it's freed up again. Heather Nash says, morning mate, looks beautiful there. Just like here, but we're due rain again today. Blacey, you've got good weather in Birmingham today. I'm so pleased about that. Hilary Rogers is watching as well. Nice to have you looking in from the top end of the island. Steve Hinkling in Stoke-on-Trent is looking in. Alf Ling says, morning, Ginge. Steve Hinkling says, Gallimera looks gorgeous there. It is absolutely beautiful this morning. BJ Neal is also looking in as well. Give you a wave back. He says, Gallimera, matey. Neil Facer is watching as well. There's a new name. Steve Thompson is watching as well. Rob Davis, Raffridge Buddy is tuning in. And somebody I'm so pleased to see is tuning in is Ian Booth. Ian had an operation in Leeds General just a few days ago. And it looks like you're on the mend, fella. And I'm so pleased about that. Alan Woodhouse is also watching as well. Philip Ellis is watching. Johnny Hayes is watching as well. Nice to have you looking in, Johnny Hayes. Shane Bowen is also watching as well. Nice to have you looking in as well, Shane. He says, Gallimera, is that what's it? Galley sing? I think you've been drinking, Shane. Anyway, Gallimera to you, mate, as well. Ian Boothie says, morning, Ginge, from my ward, recovering from open heart surgery. I'm so pleased that you're on the mend. I've been hearing, Sue did get in touch with me and said that you were feeling a little bit delicate, but it sounds like that you're on the tippy-tappy, that you are now feeling a lot better. So anyway, so pleased to see that you're okay. Anyway, Delia Gussetti is also looking in as well. Nice to have you looking in, Delia. John Baird, also old ex-schoolmate there. Nice to see you tuning in as well, fella. And he's also an ex-fireman as well. Christine Brown is watching as well. Nice to see you. Lisa Jane Baker says, morning. Susie Angus is watching as well. Lisa Saunders is watching. Christine Brown is watching. She says, had thunderstorms, lightning, sunshine and rain. Very, very frightening yesterday. I hope it's better today. Have a great holiday, Lyndon. Oh, that's what's happening in Wales at the moment. Lisa Jane Baker is also tuning in as well. Margaret Miller is watching as well. Rachel Hanson is watching too. Delia Gazzetti says, hot today. It certainly is. Shane Bowen says, it's early, Ginge, and I don't have my glasses. I know what you feel like, mate. When you don't put your glasses on, all the letters get blurred. Bless you. Anyway, thanks for tuning in yesterday to the repeat of the show that should have gone out on Sunday. That was the Northern Soul show. We're supposed to have had that broadcast on Sunday, but unfortunately there was some technical glitch with the server and it decided to play a show from 2 weeks previous. But anyway, that show was aired last night. Thank you to all those people that tuned in. Really quite shocked at the amount of people that tuned in as well. I was really chuffed about that. And the show, I then uploaded it later that night. It's on the server now on Mixcloud, and you can go and tune in and listen back to the Northern Soul show on there as well. And thank you to all those people for their input in that show as well. That was fantastic. Right, Amanda Gregory's just sent me the weather. Good morning, Ginge. Sunny and warm today. Highs of 24 degrees. Will feel like 29. in town this morning. Enjoy the day. You're not the only one who's in town this morning. Jane's off to the police station this morning with a friend to sort out residency permit stuff. So again, I know exactly where you're coming from there. Anyway, Amanda Gregory is watching. I'll give her a wave. Right, I'm going to cut the broadcast there. Once again, I'm going to keep my ear to the ground, see how things are starting to work out. I'm going to be over in Sillery at some point this morning, checking on what's happening with Magdalena's, what the plans are with opening. Delia Guzzetti says, just out my washing out and had to have a sit down. Thank you for that, Delia. But anyway, it's a good day to get your washing out, by the way. I just thought I'd let you know if you live here on the island. But we'll find out more about what's going on. Hopefully I might meet up with Dean as well, just get his perspective of his journey over. And once again, I can't believe we are now running out of time, believe it or not, before the tourist season starts the end of this week. And that's it. It'll be very interesting to see what will happen over this next week as we obviously start to see the arrival of people here onto the island. And effectively, that is the winter over. If you look at it like we do, the tourists arrive, winter's over, and now the summer has begun. And now we go back to work after being locked in our houses. Again, there's still things to be clarified by the Greek government. One of them is the ban of music in public places. Two, as well, vaccinations required to go into gymnasiums. There's things that are still yet to be clarified, and I'll be keeping my ear to the ground to see what goes on. Anyway, big shout out to Maria Hallberg over there in Sweden, and also Rosewood as well up there as well over, I think you're still in the UK at the moment, aren't you, Rose? But anyway, nice to have you guys tuning in. That's it from me. I will, as I said, keep my ear to the ground. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Ta-ra.